With our faculty, I really felt that we had a good mix of real world experience and also up to date knowledge on what's currently being taught and what is needed from us. It really adds to the experience when your instructor who's teaching you about investigations has real world experience working on cases and who has a career history in that field. It feels like I'm really getting the best of the best.
Bold ideas, inspiring stories, dynamic experiences. I'm your host, Dr. John Anderson, president of PennWest. Welcome to the Power of PennWest podcast. Well, welcome back to the Power of PennWest podcast. October is Cybersecurity Month, and we're diving deep into the world of digital defense. In a world where every click counts, who's keeping our digital lives safe? In today's episode, we go beyond the firewalls and into the lives of the people who protect them. You'll hear from PennWest students, faculty, and alumni who share what drew them to the field of cybersecurity. From early sparks of curiosity to real-world impact of their work today. Through their stories, we explore what makes cybersecurity exciting, how it's constantly evolving, and why it's more than just a career, it's a calling. Let's meet today's guests. We are going to begin with one of our own faculty members, Dr. Raymond Hsieh. Welcome, Dr. Hsieh. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Yes, Dr. Hsieh, let's learn a little about you. You are a professor of criminal justice here at PennWest on the Cal campus.
Yes.
And I hear from cracking cybercrime cases to mentoring future forensic experts. You have done a great job bridging what happens in the classroom to real-world investigations. Tell us a little bit about what brought you to cybersecurity.
Well, cybersecurity, I will briefly talk about my little bit background, my forensic science. My undergraduate actually undertake forensic science as my major. And come to the point is I want to moving up a little bit about learning something new. So at that moment, I started to information technology. And back then, there is no such computer forensic that term. I just want to curious about how the computer work. So I learning digital image enhancement at that moment. So I using the technique to enhance the crime scene, such as surveillance video or some of ATM people withdraw the money, and then I do the enhancement. At that moment, I kind of think about this kind of really digital domain could be help out for law enforcement. I have a little bit of law enforcement background. So I kind of really have a forensic science, but also computer information technology combined together. I never thought about one day everyone actually using this for our daily life. So it come to that if I God arranged me to do this, it just so happened to I have a chance to do all this digital evidence solving the crime, but end up to so many things will happen to my classroom at this moment, like deep fake, so many fraud cases. We can talk about this later, but definitely that my computer background, my forensic science background, leading to me to be a computer forensic.
Perfect. That'll be so interesting to get into how technology has changed over your career, especially with the investigation of criminal activity.
Yep.
Let's next introduce Mike Conley. Mike, you are here. You serve as a Chief Information Security Officer for Industrial Scientific in Pittsburgh and Intellex Technologies in Toronto, both of the Fortive Corporation. And I have a list of accolades here I'd like to read. You were named the 2023 Pittsburgh Cisco of the Year. That is incredibly impressive. Your journey began right here on one of our campuses, the PennWest Cal campus. You earned a degree in applied computer science. And I hear you live in Robinson Township with your wife and two daughters. And this is right up your alley as you enjoy mentoring the next generation.
It sure is. I had an applied computer science degree from California University of PA, now PennWest, and that took me into programming security tools for U.S. Steel in the early 2000s. That was to help employees with performing password resets or just getting access at U.S. Steel as technology really started to boom. And it gave me experience to next move on to become one of US Steel's first cybersecurity managers around 2010. So an exciting journey kind of from my computer science background to doing security programming to eventually being one of the leaders for US Steel at the time.
That's great, Mike. We can't wait to hear your stories. Thank you. Let's take a minute to introduce our students. We've got 4 students joining us here today as well. Shenae Coote is a dual major in psychology and criminal justice with a concentration in forensic investigation and a concentration in cyber forensics. She's on the PennWest Cal campus. Originally from Jamaica and now residing in Union, PA. I hear, Shenae, you are an ambitious and you have a lot of big dreams. Tell me a little about your experience here on the Cal campus and what attracted you to cybersecurity.
First of all, thank you for having me here. The professors here at the Cal campus encourages me and motivates me to be intelligently curious. And so I had Dr. Hsieh for my intro to forensic science class. And the way how he does his class motivates us, gives us firsthand experiences. It opened my mind that I needed to learn more, learn new things. And he was teaching that class. So I was like, might as well jump in and learn more about cybersecurity.
Excellent. Thank you. Next, let's hear from Lawrence Sims, a native of Fredericktown, Pennsylvania. As a criminal justice major at PennWest Cal, concentrating in cyber forensics and forensic investigation with a minor in computer information systems. You are set to graduate in 2027. Lauren, tell us about your interest in cybersecurity and forensics. How did that start?
Hi, thank you for having me. So my interest really started when I was younger, like around 15. I became really interested in computers during the COVID lockdown. And then after that, when I started college, I started as a criminal justice major with no concentration, no minor. And then just like Shenae said, I started taking Dr. Hsieh's classes and talking to him more, getting to know a little bit more about the program. And it really inspired me to put that love and passion for computers with the criminal justice side and look into more cybersecurity topics.
Excellent. That's such a fun connection. As soon as you start talking to the faculty, it piques your interest in Cal. Dr. Hsieh, you've got to be feeling pretty good about yourself about now. You've got 2 call outs from students so far.
Oh, I'm very happy to see that, especially that those 2 students, they are interested in different kind of area. Like Shenae actually more focused on the psychology side, and then Lawrence more like technical side. And I believe that Lauren also take an internship for the cybersecurity in this summer, right? Then I actually arranged them to go to a little bit cyber laboratory, I mean cybersecurity laboratory. She got a paid internship. I believe that she learned a lot. Every time when I see the student have very clear mindset to moving around their career, I as a teacher, I'm very happy to see this happening. So I would say this is credit for everyone in the criminal justice faculty, but also the same thing is the hard work for the student actually earn that. I'm hoping that they never target to their future continue to grow. This will be the helping of our society, make it more secure our society. So I'm happy.
That's great. I would be happy too. Let's introduce 2 more students. Chris Crawford is an international student from Cape Town, South Africa. Chris, you began your PennWest journey in 2019, graduating cum laude in criminal justice with a focus in cyber forensics. You served as a community assistant, a tour guide, and now you are a master's student with dual concentrations, and you're also a graduate assistant in the criminal justice department. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today. Tell us about your interest in cybersecurity and forensics.
Mr. President, thank you very much for having me. It's great to have this opportunity to come talk with you guys and share our experiences. I remember in 2019, when I first came to Cal, I spoke to some of the advisors to figure out what major I want to concentrate on. And as my fellow students pointed out, one of my first points of contact was Dr. Hsieh. And after our discussions, I found some direction in what I wanted to do, and I pursued criminal justice. And through many of his courses, I found that cyber forensics and digital investigations was really interesting to me. Throughout the different classes, Dr. Hsieh did a great job of exciting our interest and showing us where we could go in this field. And so that was my undergraduate. After graduating, I was looking at doing my master's and decided to pursue that here as well at PennWest California, taking more classes with Dr. Hsieh at a higher level with the master's, which was great. Really learning a lot more as we went on. During my master's, I had psychology classes or psychology focused classes with Dr. Beverly Ross, and she also piqued my interest in the psychology side of things. So that's when I took up a dual concentration in behavioral crime analysis.
Excellent. Thank you. What a journey. And next we have a student, Dax Kress. He is a senior at PennWest Cal, majoring in computer information systems. He is the alternative captain of the university's hockey team and hails from Washington, PA. Dax recently interned at Industrial Scientific as an information security intern and is pursuing a career in database analysis and cybersecurity. Dax, it's great to have you with us. Tell us a little about what's piqued your interest in cybersecurity.
Hi, thanks for having me. So I've been interested in technology for a long time. My dad works at BNY Mellon and has always pushed me towards a technology career. And ever since I started studying computer information systems at Cal, I've had a study group that we meet 4 times a week and talk about everything big in technology. And recently, well, let's say over the last 2 years, actually, it's been mostly cybersecurity based. After interning with ISC, I realized what a massive part of business this is, and that piqued my interest, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it as I go finish my degree and continue my internship at Industrial Scientific with Mike Conley.
Well, what a great connection to have an alum, a graduating student already put together through an internship. So as we prepare to dig into this, there are a few terms we've thrown around we ought to define just a little bit. We've talked about cybersecurity. We've talked about forensics. Let's talk about how those are different and how those may have some overlap. Mike, let's start with you. You kind of grew up with this field as it developed as a working professional, starting in applied computer science. When someone says, I work in cybersecurity, what does that mean?
Cybersecurity has so many different parts to it, and a lot of what my team does, and I have Dax Kress here as well. He's actually an intern with PennWest, and he's been with us for over this past summer. And it's a lot of the work that we start out with is kind of the defense. So where a lot of the folks that are on this call are like after an incident happens, a big part of what my role is at the company is ensuring that we don't have a problem. So there's defensive tactics that we take. First, it starts out with just governance, risk, and compliance. Like, let's make sure that we have policies in place that can defend our company or train our employees to understand how they can work safely. Second, there's a security operations center. There's a part of our organization that is looking to determine, can we detect some type of incident from occurring? And then also there's a lot of protective technologies that are out there too that you're aware of, like antivirus and firewalls were mentioned earlier on the call, right? There's technology in place that helps defend our organization from that and ensure that we're reacting to vulnerabilities that come out all the time. I mean, you see all the messages like update your phone, update your browser. Getting that done within a very short time frame is also very important from protecting our company and our customers from greater harm. So that's a lot of what we do inside of a company for cybersecurity. It's 24/7 job.
Thanks, Mike. So Mike, you told us a little bit about what cybersecurity is, the teams you have working on essentially thwarting the attacks that might come in. Let's talk a little about this forensic side. That means once something's happened, you kind of work backwards to figure out what happened, where it came from, and how it infiltrated the impenetrable systems that we've built. Dr. Hsieh, you want to tell us a little about this forensic approach to solving these problems?
Thank you, President Anderson. I personally believe cybersecurity is not limited for the IT job. The reason why I say that is because we are actually being falling to the defensive system now, regardless you are a student, you are faculty or staff. The threat is everywhere. Like, you kind of dealing with all the digital things. Like, first of all, is like now deepfake. I'm going to talk about the AI. Now everyone using a digital device every day. So you kind of being bombarded with a lot of digital device, digital media, digital everything, right? Now talking to the fraud, right? Why fraud is so many? I mean, I'm gonna be in for like criminal justice perspective or forensic science perspective. Like this kind of really cybersecurity challenging. It's not only limited to the IT people. It's not limited to like hacking. It's not linking to like coding. You kind of need to be. My perspective is I'm building with training my student as a digital defender or as digital guardian for our future society. I need to be training more digital guardian to be protect our society. Regardless, the student will be like down the road is a lawyer of a law enforcement agency, or like Lawrence want to be interested about the cybersecurity, testing that about the all security system. But when I teach in the forensic science into the digital domain, I'm kind of seeing this is like cyber forensic. It's more geared to collecting a wrongdoing, but it's targeted to the digital evidence, like the file, like child pornography, and the file being deleted, right? And then law enforcement need to bring the file back. So student in my class, they're learning manually on delete the file because that's been deleted, right? Then cybersecurity, probably IT guy, probably they more focused on the preventing. But my perspective, even working is the same streamline, but I'm probably, more highlight more like evidence collections, right? Then student, like, learning not only on deleted file, probably it will be start to learning like, okay, now we got so many being identity theft, right? Now I need to know how does this like tracking this information, misinformation, how do you track in there? Or we got so many fraud, and then the fraud target to the elderly. The elderly, they build up some like romance scam. And then how can you solve the issue? So I personally viewing this is that cybersecurity is beyond the scope. It's only technology part. It's more like ethical part. It's more like legal part. It's because the threat is everywhere. So that's kind of really, I see the scope is a cybersecurity, not only for the IT technical part. I will see the more expense. So in my class, it will be covered a little bit about like, what is a defect about this, right? AI thing. It's all good things, but what about you see the defect? Is there any way like you differentiate the defect that forensically? So that's kind of really like I see the forensic cybersecurity, which is a little bit different, but cyber forensic a little bit compared to the cybersecurity.
That's great. That's a great delineation. Let's go now, Lauren. You want to take this next question for us? I think it's so interesting to watch the journey of a student. So, Lauren, at one point you were a student sitting there interested in technology. You may have seen an email or a news story about something that happened to someone was defrauded, their information was stolen. How do you go from that to sitting in a class, learning how that process actually happens, how you get into the details and find out what that experience was like and what the data are telling us? Talk to us a little about that journey to go from kind of a consumer of cybersecurity to someone who's in the details doing the work.
So I think what really brought out my curiosity was one of my just general criminal justice classes. It did have a section in it where it covered the cybersecurity and the cyber forensics. And learning about that kind of led me to researching a little bit about it, watching videos, reading the news articles about it, and then discussing with my advisor at the time to add that concentration onto my major. So I was able to take courses. And then after taking a couple of those courses, it did lead me to having that minor added of computer information systems. So I can get the best of both sides and get the forensic side with the criminal justice and also the computer side with the softwares.
Excellent. Shenae, tell us a little about your story too. Because how do you go from a consumer hearing about these stories, hearing about terms thrown around like deep fake AI, to actually being able to understand what a deep fake AI is? What was that journey like for you?
It's about having a professor that is willing to spark that curiosity of a student, of like speaking that, oh, I might be a professor, I might be considered old, but I'm still learning to make sure that I give you the best knowledge possible. So I knew that I was going to come and do forensic science, but I did not think that I would be taking a class or two or even studying cyber forensic until I started like speaking with my advisors, speaking with my professor about it, and be like, all right, I love knowledge. I want to learn. And while I'm here, I might as well learn. So that is how I ended up doing what I'm doing now.
That's excellent. Dax, let's go to you next. You've had a chance to learn in the classroom and immediately apply it through an internship. Did you find what you learned in the classroom about cybersecurity and forensics applicable to the internship, or what was that? How hard is it to translate one to the other?
Professors made the transition pretty easy for me. A lot of the stuff we learned in class did translate directly over to working with Mike, but Mike's security team was able to answer any questions I had and then teach me more about the projects I was working on. So everything that I could do to help, I did help. I mean, I did it well, to the best of my ability. But with what we're learning in classes now, especially with some of the classes we just added, learning about preventing people from getting information has definitely helped me in the information sector.
Excellent. Thank you. Chris, let's talk. Let's hear from you just a little bit. You did an undergraduate, and instead of transitioning into industry, you went on to earn or working through a master's degree. Why did you choose to go that route instead of straight into industry?
Well, for me, I was still curious to learn more, and I wanted to extend my time studying here in the US because when I came to America, I wanted to pursue higher education that focused on cyber forensics, those type of criminal investigations, because we didn't have that knowledge back where I came from at the time. So being able to go out and learn as much as possible and use the opportunities that I had here was a big draw. And also, I had spent 4 years with the faculty that I had come to really adore and trust with my education. I can't speak much about the other faculties. I know that they're also great, from what I've heard from students, but with our faculty, I really felt that we had a good mix of real world experience and also up-to-date knowledge on what's currently being taught and what is needed from us. It really adds to the experience when your instructor who's teaching you about investigations has real-world experience working on cases and who has a career history in that field. It feels like I'm really getting the best of the best.
That's excellent. So, Mike, talk to us a little. We've heard a lot about the classroom, the translation from kind of a novice to an experienced learner. But, Mike, talk to us about the work of a cybersecurity professional today. Where do attacks come from? What do you look for? What worries you about somebody infiltrating the systems you oversee?
Yeah, so the two companies that I serve are environmental health and safety companies. And it's very critical for us that, we're protecting the lives of workers. And that's a real-time profession. It's like there's real-time data that comes to us all the time from businesses around the world, whether it could be, gas monitoring from one of the companies that we serve. Another company it could be helping to get you on a plane safely, so that you can, travel from country to country. And that mission there to ensure that that can be done without interruption. We can't afford for, a gap in, an hour for us to not have this working. So that's part of the mission here is, we want to end death on the job. We want to ensure that workers are safe in what they do. And it's our team's responsibility to inspire organizations to do everything that we can to make sure there's no interruption there. That's very important for us. And I think it's the same for a lot of a lot of companies that are serving in the healthcare industry or safety industries, or if you're performing like heavy manufacturing, we just have to be there, be ready all the time with a system that is up and it's available for to serve our customers.
Dax, what is it like to take on that kind of serious responsibility? So you just heard Mike, who was your boss for the summer, or maybe he was the boss's boss's boss, who's somewhere up the chain for you. But you had the chance to hear him describe, you're really dealing with people's lives every day. How do you set up systems? What is it like to transition from working on a group project to all of a sudden it's real world, this matters?
Well, really, it was pretty easy because most of the projects I worked on were still group projects. The team that we have is very well integrated, and I was mainly there just helping people with different parts of the projects, and everything that I worked on was double checked, and I got to check their work as well. So it was super easy transition for me.
Excellent. Great to hear. Mike, let's go back to you for just a minute. Talk to us about the future. We know, and you've talked a little bit about some of the threats that happen now, keeping systems up and rolling, keep making sure that they're not penetrated by exterior sources. What does the future of cybersecurity look like?
Right. I think that third party risk management is huge right now. There's so many companies that you're beginning to use AI more so to get products to the market a lot faster. And so we have to very much question, how are those products built? Were they built securely? Were the components that were added into this by hopefully the human, but also AI, are they secure? Are they safe? I think that's going to be something that is huge as a next step. Second, I think it's our workforce. It's we have to, everybody who's on this call, everybody who's going to school right now, I mean, you have to find that right balance between, is it you, or is it the AI tool that is there? Going through the interview process as well, it's kind of interesting to see that, sometimes people are having like AI assisted interviews these days. I can be interviewing interns, and there's like a 10-second pause before I get back the answer to my question, and that's not a good look. So the quality of the workforce moving forward, I think is going to be something that's a question. You got to be very careful there. And I think it's still going to come down to, even in our future, the humans, protecting the humans. So you got to be careful with the emails that you click on, the recordings that you make and such. I mean, those things hang around really forever these days. So who you share information with, just be very careful with that. Read the fine print and ensure that is really what you want to do with that information moving forward. So I think it's protect your information as much as possible, and just be careful with AI technology.
That is very sound advice for all of us to hear. Dr. Hsieh, talk to us a little bit about how we're preparing students to work in that environment that is really developing very, very quickly. I mean, AI is taking off, cybersecurity is taking off. How are we preparing students to be effective now and in an environment that maybe 5 years from now could be very different?
I echo that Michael just referred to the AI thing. I mean, the AI, obviously, the majority will be beneficial for the whole human being, that we can use in the AI to list the amount of that some kind of workload. But AI also impact us for negative way. As I refer here, the cybersecurity start to build up the line. It's not clear. It's everyone being impacted. It's not only for the IT guy. Like everyone could be impacted because AI generate like deepfake, or using the video, even cloning your voice. Like, I see all the fraud cases actually cloning the people's voice and regenerate it using your voice to talk something which is you never say, or the deepfake is like doing something like which is you never did. My perspective as an educator, I want to educate my students. Everyone could be, you come from a different environment. You have major is computer science or criminal justice or psychology, but we all dealing with all the digital challenge every day. We could be sitting to the jury. We'll be the juror. you're dealing with all this digital evidence, like a fraud, all this kind of real evidence. My mindset, I always, be educate my student have a defender mindset. Like, how do you train your student is a future guardian to be like all dealing with constantly new things coming along, right? I was a crimes investigator probably like 20 or 30 years ago. I never thought about one day all the physical evidence could be turned to the virtual. I tell the student is your eye is not seeing doesn't mean that it does not exist. It's just like you're not able to touch that. So when you're dealing with my classroom, I always like, how do I enhance my student to increase critical thinking? How do you train the student have like mindset for how to differentiate like digital evidence to the real physical evidence? How do you like ethical part is like you have ethical courage to like say something which is a digital domain, like, okay, this is the evidence which I see this like generated by AI. It is not real. It is true. So you need to encourage the student to have an ethical part. And also you need to increase the student technical part because AI keep increasing their ability. We need to keep update with this. You cannot really stay there like teaching the 20 some years ago, like, content because your AI thing, the digital thing is changing the problem overnight. So I, as a professor, I need to be also continue to educate myself to like learn something new. Otherwise, I won't be able to pass down to my student. So training the student as a future digital guardian and always disclose truth in the digital age is my guideline in my heart. So as an educator, dealing with this new challenge, I always educate myself. Is I need to push myself to share something new to the student, make an eye opening. This is not like seeing is not believing now. So do not trust anything you generated. You simply click that will be falling into the fraud cases. But this is the only thing I can do as an educator.
Excellent. That's very well said. Thank you. As we prepare to wrap up, let's go to each of our students and have each of you answer this question. You have chosen cybersecurity, forensics, digital forensics, all kinds of forensics as a profession. Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? What kind of work will you be doing? What will life look like? Lauren, let's start with you. Where are you going to be in 5 or 10 years?
In 5 or 10 years, I see my goal as working a federal job in the cybersecurity field, helping protect people, helping develop systems or investigate the crimes using the tools that I was provided by my professors, classes, research in helping catch these criminals. And that's where I hope to be at. So
Well, that sounds like a pretty good target. That would be a fun profession for sure and a meaningful profession. Shenae, how about you?
For me, 5, 10 years, I will be investigating. I will be around the desk doing the tapping on the computer to find where images are hidden or to decode encrypted messages, as well as pursue other career in psychology.
Excellent. Thank you. Dax, how about you?
Well, in 5 years, I'd like to be at ISC. I'd like to be working on some sort of AI implementation on the defense side of cybersecurity.
Well, you've definitely got a good start. Chris, tell us about yourself 5 or 10 years from now.
Hopefully, I'll be working in the field of digital investigations, and I'm very much looking forward to it because what is happening in the field now is not going to be the same in 5 years. There's always going to be something different that I get to learn about and adapt to. So, general direction, digital investigations, hopefully consulting companies as well. And I look forward to it because I know I'm not going to get bored. I'm going to keep being interested.
Excellent. And Mike, let's finish up with you. You're the expert managing this for 2 large organizations right now, saving lives by the minute. Talk to us about 5 or 10 years from now. What does the industry look like? How's it shaped? How are things going to change then from how they are now?
I think the industry is going to be fueled by a lot of AI systems as well as humans that are working together to catch problems quickly. I think that the industry is going to have the the attackers on the other side that are also going to be using some of these same tools to try to break down barriers. So there's going to be a lot of need to work on the basics. I talked on a lot about that in this call, and I think on the forensic side of the house as well, that defensive mindset that was talked about by the team members here is going to be absolutely necessary to, have inside of our companies to defend, but also to solve those cases thereafter very quickly. I loved all the comments about, how it's going to be very tough to, you know, go find something that isn't there anymore. And we're going to need that help because I think that AI systems, they're probably going to be cleaning up after themselves even quicker than the humans can in the future. So there's going to be a lot of need to defend against things like quantum computing. I mean, that's going to come in the next probably 5 to 10 years, and we'll be able to break more of the old encryption schemes that are out there today. That somebody could be watching the traffic that's happening today, break into there, figure out the password that was used in 2025, and break into a system in 2030. So it's going to be strange times indeed as technology continues to advance. And the best that we can do is, yeah, let's educate ourselves. Let's get ready for this, and let's ensure that our workforce and future is ready to deal with the challenge.
Thank you very much, Mike. Dr. Hsieh, before we wrap up, any comments from you about preparing students, what preparing students to look like 5 or 10 years from now that's more advanced than what we're doing now?
Wow. Like I said, Michael actually referred very nicely, like quantum computer or even using the AI. Obviously, I see that the AI usage will be only move forward. We will not be backward. So my view as a criminal justice perspective is like AI always like we were using the AI as a positive thing. But I always see that AI does that really everything's good. Obviously it's not. It's like start to see that using the AI. Lately I do the research. I find out all these fraud cases, all the fraud cases, especially now, they're using deepfake or AI regenerated image, and then try to persuade the people to be fall into the trap. The AI actually contribute very much. Number two is all this again, they actually using the AI tool to like do that real time translation of different language. So when I talk, they can completely transfer like talking to a different language. I can real talk in Japanese at the same time using my voice, but its pronunciation is Japanese or even the different kind of language. So I, as a professor in the criminal justice, I see that 5 years from now, will get more complicated as a forensic prospect or like cyber forensic or investigation part because the technology keep advancing, and then it's very hard for the law enforcement to keep solving the problem. I give you a quick example is like used to when the police when they find out some kind of drug trafficking, they using the taping the phone line for so you can hear the people talking like what they are doing. But now using the digital, you tap in the line, it doesn't matter. It's all data in between. So even you want to hear the voice, there is no voice you can hear. You have to start to learning how to decrypt the voice. Then you can start to knowing what they are talking. So this is just quick example of like, this has already happened. But for 5 years from now, with the AI support, I think the criminal is getting more complicated. It's more complicated, even harder for the law enforcement, from the forensic scientists to be solve the case. But I'm strongly believe that, a few days I'm in my class and talk about AI, just like a DNA or just like computer forensic. There is no such the law or like, scientific community to talk about this for the law, how to regulate this. But I believe that AI, these things, we would probably the for forensic science community will start to develop some kind of like a system or discipline or rule to like regulate the AI. But overall, being a law enforcement or like criminal justice professor, I'm kind of really like had to prepare myself. What is the best way to continue to open my student eye? What is the best way to train the student as a digital guardian? What is the best way to a digital defender? We need to prepare this moment, continue to feed the students something new, which is not really happened before, but it's something new. And when we progress the 5 years from now, I think we're still confident we should be able to educate our students to be keep up with that update, even the AI being the good thing, but also the negative things.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hsieh. This has been such a fascinating conversation. There are very few sectors of the economy that are moving so quickly and putting us at so much peril or benefit. And it'll be fun to see over the next 5 or 10 years how this all shifts. So Dr. Hsieh, Mike Connolly, thank you for joining us today and bringing the industry and teaching perspective. It was wonderful to hear those voices. And to our students, Chris, Lauren, Shenae, and Dax, thank you for joining us. I will sleep better knowing that the 4 of you are out there learning all of these things to keep us safe every time we sit down at a computer and type or take a picture. So thanks to each of you for joining the Power of PennWest podcast today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.